Capcom doesn't see the value in bringing back their original games. Last year, Capcom released the original versions of the first 3 Resident Evils on PC, but apparently it took some real convincing from the folks at Good Old Games. Per GOG's... I'm not even going to try. I'm going to butcher his name, so sorry about that. Per GOG, Capcom said, we have all these remakes.
Peksiski, I think.
They're already a superior experience to those original games. So they really didn't see the value in bringing back the vanilla versions. GOG says that the re-releases have been a success, though, and have proved GOG's argument that gamers want the originals was correct. So our discussion question here is, do you think it's important to preserve the original versions of old games on modern platforms even after modern remasters or remakes are released?
I do think so.
I think so too.
Why? Yeah. I think sometimes people say like, oh, nostalgic glasses, rose-tinted glasses, whatever. I think sometimes you do accurately remember what it was like. And those graphics, due to the nostalgia, maybe, or whatever else, I don't know, you might find those graphics charming for whatever reason and just want to play it how it was.
And it's about more than just graphics. I mean, back when I wasn't on top of it, so I didn't do it. But when Blizzard kind of removed their older Warcraft titles from GOG because, Reforged is like, better now or whatever. I didn't really want to give Activision Blizzard any money, but I really wanted to own those original versions of those games, and I didn't have my old CD keys or anything, and so I was like, I'm very tempted to pick up copies of these before I can't get them anymore, because I don't necessarily want your fixed balance.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want your enhanced experiences. And in the case of single player experiences, for instance, maybe you want to play the old buggy version and mess around with speed running.
Maybe you want the controls to be clunky because that's more like what it was.
Yeah, that's another really good point. And the reason that I actually picked this as a WAN show topic this week is that I'm about 30 hours into playing a remake of a beloved game for me that I played when I was much younger, Final Fantasy Tactics. So the remake is called The Ivalice Chronicles, and they have improved a lot. Like the modern nice to haves, like when you're in a fight now, you can just go back to the world map and you won't end up like there was a particularly notorious fight in this game where you have to win a battle and then you go into another battle like subsequently without being able to go back to the world map and like redo all your equipment or like grind a few more levels, whatever it is you might feel like you need to do. You go straight into the second fight and you have to 1v1 a really powerful opponent who has initiative on you. And like, if you didn't build your main character, which you would have no way of knowing to do, around winning this fight, you could end up essentially with a no progression state. If you didn't happen to save early enough to go back and grind up and learn useful abilities for this fight.
Final Fantasy VI had a few moments like that.
Mm-hmm. So, the new version of Tactics has very much nice to have modern creature comforts that allow you to back out of that fight at that point. You obviously lose any XP or items that you gained during this progression, but no matter what, it's got autosave, which is nice. You can just go back out and go do some stuff. But what I noticed is that some of the modern niceties have actually taken away from the game. They've made it so there's certain content that you can just skip. You can just not bother with. So one of the things that they added that I've definitely felt was really nice is the ability to flee from random battles. So it used to be that as you were moving around on the world map, every time you passed over a certain location, anything but a city, you could hit a random battle. Because it's Final Fantasy. That's part of the game. That's sort of a core element of Final Fantasy is the annoyance and frustration and the grind of random battles. And So being able to skip them is great because when you go to the towns and you go to the tavern, there's these missions that you can send your party members off on, and they'll come back with job points. So they'll like level up their job abilities.
Which is like your class.
Yeah, they'll get gold. Some of them can be extremely lucrative, and then you'll also find like random relics or whatever. So you can become a treasure hunter. It doesn't really have any benefit, but it plays a nice, dopamine releasing music, and your characters jump around and get excited about it. So whatever, sure, great. But the way that you do these is you go to the town, and then you assign a few of your random party members to go off on this mission, and then every dot that you go over on the map is 1 day. And the mission lasts for usually anywhere from like 9 to 14 days or kind of somewhere in that range. So the whole idea of this mechanic was that you had to build up a whole roster of party members besides just your main 5 that you take into every fight because they're your best ones, and they only become more bester the more that you use them because they'll continue to level up and level up and level up. So you had to maintain a larger roster so that you had guys to send on these missions, and so that you could survive the random fights that you would go through before you could come get your guys back with all their booty.
Right.
Well, now you can just move around on the map for a little bit, flee from all the fights, and then just collect the golden job points. So you didn't earn it.
That's why I mentioned my thing about controls. Is like in, say, the original StarCraft, you could only select a certain amount of units, if I remember correctly, in one drag select. And then I don't remember, but was there bindable groups?
I'm trying to remember, like shift 1, shift 2.
Yeah.
StarCraft. Warcraft 3 definitely had it.
3, yeah.
I don't remember if StarCraft had it. The McG says yes, StarCraft had it. I don't think Warcraft 2 had it.
Maybe there was like different forms of it or something. But either way, there's like microing shortcuts that kind of come in later versions,
right,
which are a difficulty changer, 100%. So like having those old controls might feel worse, sure, but it might make the game easier.
Right. Oh yeah.
Which is like basically the thing that you're saying, but it's slightly different. It's through the control route, but it's like,
Oh, I've got one that's very similar.
Sure.
So another really nice to have is that in Final Fantasy Tactics, the original, when you moved on the battlefield, it would say, "Are you sure?" And you'd be like, "Yes." You're moved. It's like chess rules. Once you let go of the piece, it's there. It doesn't matter if immediately go, "Oh my God, no, oh no." Doesn't matter. You're there. And one of the things that made that really challenging was that depending on my zodiac sign and your zodiac sign and my specific character's attributes and yours, I could do dramatically different damage with the same attack to one opponent versus another one. But once I moved, I couldn't know how much until I moved within range and made and like lined up an attack.
Get information,
and then it would predict, how much damage I'm going to do.
Got it.
And that can be really important in a tactics game because a difference of 10% in my damage dealing could be the difference between a KO and overextending myself and completely turning the tide of the fight.
Yeah.
So in the remake, you can just shop around for the best move. So you can just move there and go, okay, how much damage can I do to that guy? No. Okay, now move there and then see how much damage I can do there. And then I can undo my move. And I can do that as many times as I want, unless I have a certain ability equipped that is like a move find item or a move gain job points or like something like that. Like there's certain abilities that lock your ability to unmove.
That makes sense.
But it makes it markedly easier. And the only way that they sort of countered all of this was by adding a more difficult mode. They added a tactician difficulty, but they took the laziest possible approach to increasing difficulty, where instead of enhancing the enemy AI, for instance, like it still does shockingly stupid stuff, they just nerfed my damage and buffed theirs.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate just like number go up difficulty
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, to a certain degree, sure, but I think one of the most egregious modern examples of that is the Oblivion remake, where there's like 2 difficulty levels. I don't remember what they are. I'm sure chat will know. They've been on a thing today. Where you jump up and it like doubles or triples the enemy HP. Like it's just a wild experience. You play on one setting, it's like, wow, this is way too easy. You play on the other setting, it's like, okay, it feels like
It's
I'm
a
playing
brick
like,
wall.
yeah. And I just have to stab this. Yeah, adept to expert. Sure, I don't know. You just have to stab things like. I don't know. You go from like one-shotting things to fights take 3 minutes. Like it makes no sense at all. And they recognized it pretty quick. And I think they said that they were going to change it, but yikes.
I mean, fights in I only played the original Oblivion, but I know that I do remember some fights just being a grind to the point where it's almost like immersion breaking.
Oh yeah, and then you have to, because then it takes so long that you take a bunch of damage. Now you have to run and heal for a while, so that adds to the total time. And then,
well, I just mean at a certain point, it doesn't matter how tough you are. If you're made of flesh, and I'm holding a big giant metal sharp thing,
sure,
there's only so many times, and like, you know, the animation has blood coming off of you. Like it's just, there were these the original Far Cry had these horrible like big brutes that show up towards the later stages of the game, and I remember
somehow take more bullets.
I remember being stuck in this one point that was just incredibly frustrating because you had to kind of time it perfectly to get like, it was like multiple rockets you have to hit these stupid things with. And I'm just like, no matter what you are, no matter how tough you are, if you are made of flesh and blood and bones, a rocket blows you up. Like, no. Bullets, fine. You know, you could be shot a few times and you could still be just like, you know, methed up enough to keep moving towards me or something. Like I can handle.
There are some examples.
Suspension of disbelief around that. Or, you know, you could have a few arrows in you and you could like rip it off and like come after me or whatever. Like, sure. You could have a grenade, you know, go off next to you and it blows off your arm or whatever, but you still like, you know, you're a zombie or something. You stagger towards me and you like grab onto me. I can get behind
somehow
any of that.
It closed the artery while it blew your arm off.
A rocket launcher to the face. Like I still, it's like one of those really old memories because I could have been no older than, like, when did Far Cry come out? Like I was like 16 or something, right? Like but I still remember it, even though that was, yeah, exactly. Even though that was 21 years ago, because I was just so mad because I died on this section a bunch of times. I finally came up with an idea. I was like, okay, I have one rocket. And then I got my shot off like perfectly. I hit him in the face with it. And I'm like, okay, surely that must have and I'm dead. And it's just like, that's not fun. And you can limit the difficulty in other ways. You could make a rocket really hard to aim. You know, you make the crosshair move.
Sure.
You could severely restrict the ammo because it was already an issue in that game where you couldn't just like carry an unlimited number of weapons and stuff. So you could limit the number of weapons that I can carry. I can only carry 2 weapons, and I can only carry 2 rockets.
Yeah, so taking the rocket launcher is like a huge ammo risk.
Yeah, just this huge. There's huge downsides to it, or whatever. Find another way to fix the balance, but be more creative than just
HP go up.
HP go up.
Yeah,
it's not fun.
Yeah,
unless you're the kind of person who just really enjoys that. In which case, we want to hear from you. I'm kidding. I don't.
Yeah, I was like,
No, it's lazy. No, it's lazy design. It's lazy design.
What are we talking about? What topic are we on?
Capcom not seeing the value.
Right. Yeah, I think having original versions is cool, for sure.
Our discussion topic here from Mr. Gauthier is why are some devs averse to re-releasing older games without touching them too much? Are they being lazy? Are they being cheap? Are they scared the original is so janky it could scare off potential buyers?
That one, I think.
I could see that one.
I think that's the main one. I think if you're releasing this game on GOG, I think you're safe from that.
I think so too. I mean, that's what I think. But you never know. I mean, brands are funny about their brands. Because when you launch that game, it's still going to be a big giant Capcom when you launch it. And so if they're kind of sitting there going, well, I mean, yeah, we were pretty proud of that 25 years ago, but the games industry has sort of moved on, and I could see people, creating a negative association between our brand and this like frustrating janky experience. I've heard dumber arguments around brand use.
Yeah, for sure. I just think they also need to understand the positive association that would come with doing this and doing this the right way, which I think is releasing it through GOG. I think they did do it the right way.
That positive association is to a completely different person, though. The positive association is with the nostalgia crowd or with the diehards who just love the franchise and they want to go experience it the way that it was or something like that. Whereas if almost literally anyone else ended up with this game, there's a really solid chance they wouldn't like it. Like, I wouldn't have given my son original Final Fantasy Tactics because it didn't explain anything. You just kind of get dumped into it. You have no idea what to do. It's super frustrating.
Was that a manual game? Was that like a...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so unless you have... I mean, you could maybe find a PDF and print off a replacement or something, but unless you have the manual, it's not the same experience. I think that's surprisingly easy to forget. It's like experiencing something from that long ago now is difficult to truly make the same. Because you kind of need everything that came with experiencing that to experience it properly.
Good old Vim's Lair. Final Fantasy Tactics Manual.
That's awesome, actually.
Here it is. Oh, it's really slow. Cool. That makes sense.
I wonder if a few people looked it up.
Yep. Nice.
That's cool.
Oh, man. Manuals were pretty cool, dude. Okay, but look at this though. This is crazy. In the new version, they explain the importance of picking your zodiac sign. They explain it quite a bit. Here, enter the adventure. I don't know, bruv. Just go for it. After entering your character's name, enter your birth date on the next screen in similar fashion using the start button to confirm. Your birth date will affect zodiac sign, which has an influence on your character's performance during battles. See page 10, but they're just go for it.
Well, what's on page 10?
All right. If it has a full matrix, then I'll think it's okay. Yeah. Is this not page 10? Because this looks like page 10.
Looks like a 10. But I don't think we've scrolled enough times for it to be page 10.
Yeah, no, not that useful. Cool.
The Vim thing says you're on page 7 now or something.
Yeah,
Chat
well,
is
we
saying
can...
3.
Chat's saying
but
3?
But the corner said 10.
Yeah, well, cool. Chat's saying 3. Let's try 3. I'm going to hear you out, chat. Nope, that's definitely not it. All right.
I don't know what they mean by 3.
Neat.
How are they both missing 3?
Anyway, the point is...
I have literally no idea what they're saying.
No, it's a J as in Jack?
I have actually no idea what they're saying.
J, not 3. What does J mean?
J as in J. Oh, section J on page 10.
Oh, okay, here. Yeah, okay. This symbol indicates the unit's zodiac sign. If the unit attacks an enemy with a compatible sign, damage will be increased. If signs are incompatible, damage is decreased. Press the select button during battle to bring up a help menu and check the zodiac sign compatibility. Okay. You know what? That's actually pretty okay. I will say, though, that this is this is dense. This is not user-friendly. This is not for kids. And this is just, in some cases, indicating where to go to bring up a help menu built within the game that is also not got the greatest translation.
You liked it. Is it not for kids or is it not for kids now?
I don't know. And I don't know how I liked it. I really like I'm thinking back to some of my first experiences playing this game. Like I didn't know how to change your. I didn't even know how to learn abilities. My favorite game ever
is Morrowind. I didn't know it had a main quest.
Yeah.
For months.
Okay, this is my Morrowind.
Yeah.
Like, I ended up against a brick wall in this game because I didn't actually... twice within the first few battles. Because I didn't know how to learn additional abilities. And I didn't know how to... Because I didn't have the manual, actually. I played it on an emulator for the first time. So that's a big part of the reason that I bought this. Was because I, like, needed to give Square Enix now. But I needed to give them money for it at some point. Because I'd already played the game a few times. So I didn't have a manual, so I didn't know that you could like learn new abilities. And so I just got really frustrated because I kept coming up against tougher and tougher enemies that had all these like amazing abilities and they could do magic and shit. And I'm like, okay, so when do I level up? And then I didn't figure out changing jobs for a while either. So I don't know how I figured out how to play this game, to be honest with you, because it's very deep. Very complicated.
I think sometimes that's what you want as a kid.
You think so?
You want to fight with something and like force learn it and impart your will onto it, despite it being complicated and hard.